Everyone in this world worships a white tiger. Wait. Because I am the ultimate apex of genetic engineering, and humanity's last hope in a world overrun by colossal beasts. I don't just carry the blood of Godzilla, the king of the monsters. My body is a genetic cocktail of countless ancient titans. Because of this, thousands of people are assigned every day just to groom my fur, and over 200 pounds of premium meat are offered up for every meal. But lately, I've realized something is growing inside me. Every ounce of energy I absorb from my food is drained by this anomaly. Worse still, no matter how much I growl and protest, the research staff never seem to grasp a simple fact: I am starving. The only person who ever helped was Denri Wu. Though his visits can be counted on one hand, the crimson serum he brings can keep me satisfied for days. But Henry is out of town, and when I try to communicate with my handler, Owen Gray, he doesn't understand a damn thing. I'm going crazy from hunger. To be fair, it's not Owen's fault. From his perspective, feeding me a tenth of my body weight in meat every day is more than generous. It should at least fill half my stomach, so the thought that I'm starving never crosses his mind. Instead, he assumes some external factor is making me cranky. And so, with eyes bloodshot from starvation, they finally snap. With an earth-shattering roar, I launch myself into the air, effortlessly clearing the pathetic fence and marking yet another grand escape. Warning. Warning. The white tiger has breached containment. Sirens wail across the facility. Yes, everyone in the control room looks incredibly unfazed. Lowry, the guy with the glasses, takes a sip of his coffee without a hint of urgency, and turns to his coworker. What's the over-under on how long he stays out this time? I give it an hour. I say 30 minutes. Honestly, he can blame them for being so relaxed. Ian, without a doubt, the smartest and most docile creature they've ever handled. Even when I'm feeling under the weather, I just give a polite grunt to get their attention, then lay down nicely for an exam. Compare that to the carnivorous dinosaurs. Hell, even the gentlest triceratops rarely cooperates with the staff. With bodies that massive, a single careless twitch can send a man flying. Next to them, my calm demeanor makes me look like a friendly angel. What the hell is everyone doing? A sharp voice cuts through the room. The two gossiping operators immediately sit up straight, pretending nothing happened, exactly like students caught slacking by a teacher. Other staffers hurriedly toss their phones aside, shifting from chill to serious in the blink of an eye. Eyes glued to monitors, everyone suddenly looks incredibly busy. Claire Deering, the operations manager, takes it all in without a word. Having been in their shoes, she completely understands the psychology. She knows all too well how gentle the white tiger is. This escape isn't really a big deal, but protocol is protocol. The white tiger is chipped with a geek's tracker. Turn it on, and see where he's heading. Boss. Something's wrong. Lowry sharply pushes the signal data to the main screen, his jaw dropping as he traces the trajectory. Everyone who looks up at the screen gasps. Emma, seeing this right? Oh. I'm seeing it too. What the hell is that? No one can blame Lowry if he curses right now. On the screen, a red dot is tearing across the map at 60 miles per hour. Crazier still, the dot is plowing straight through a dense, virgin forest in a dead straight line. Claire recognizes the anomaly, but maintains the composure of a seasoned manager. She barks out orders: pull up all security feeds along that route. I want a live visual on what the tiger is doing. Alert all personnel in his path and evacuate them immediately. Use electronic deterrents to herd the dinosaur populations away from that sector. We cannot afford a confrontation. As Claire's crisp commands roll out, the tense room fills with the clatter of keyboards, a sound they usually hate, but which now brings a strange sense of security. Where is Jur? Whoa. I need to speak with him. Claire turns to her assistant, Sadara. Claire doesn't know much about the white tiger, she only knows it's the latest hybrid marvel to walk out of the lab. Even Owen probably understands it better than she does. She's an executive, not the head of animal husbandry. She can give a killer presentation on these creatures, but she is no expert. Wu took a call and left for Chicago. He won't be back for about a month. Damn it. The news hits Claire hard. Her face darkens. She slams her hand on the desk in frustration, her mind instantly shifting to cursing the construction crews for being so agonizingly slow. After my first escape, the engineering team admitted my jumping capability slightly exceeded their projections. They decided to build a 30-foot wall to contain a 16-foot tiger. Considering my growth rate, that was only phase 1. Phase 2 required a 50-foot wall. 4 months have passed, and the current wall sits at a measly 25 feet. The construction crew clocks out right at the 8-hour mark, and she can't even complain. If it were crew from the east, they would have had it done in 2 months. Notify the containment team. Send a fully geared retrieval unit. Bring him back. We've done this before, remember? Treat it as a drill. Claire says this, but internally, she's skeptical. Escorting a 600-pound Bengal tiger and subduing a 3-ton, tiger-shaped monster are two entirely different concepts. But for now, all she can do is hope the team succeeds, and that the white tiger is still the gentle giant he's always been. The mere thought of this gives her a headache. Who on earth is qualified to handle this? Call our top handler immediately. Ask him how exactly he's been taking care of our treasure. No need to call. I'm right here. Owen Grady strides in alongside Davis, acting like he owns the place. A security guard in a black suit tries to block their path, but one look at the muscular, bald, intimidating figure of the man walking with Owen, and the guard steps back without a word. Claire doesn't flinch. Anger is etched into her face as she steps forward. I want to know exactly how our employee of the month has been taking care of our prize. Owen fires back, full of grievances. Well, I'd love to know what kind of freak tiger grows to 16 feet long and still gets slapped with a Far East giant tiger label. And do you know he just vaulted a 25-foot wall right in front of me? If it weren't for his docile nature and zero interest in humans, I guarantee no one in that sector would have survived. Claire knows she's losing the argument, but she's a victim here too. How was she supposed to know what bizarre gene sequences her who had spliced into the cat? That's a question for her. Not me. Then where is her who once had a good impression of the friendly doctor, now views him as a madman willing to stuff any random tina into a hybrid without a second thought? Ladies and gentlemen, we have the camera feeds. You need to see this. Lowry's voice breaks the tension, and both sides back down. All eyes turn to the big screen. Through the tree-mounted cameras, the footage reveals a massive, torn-up corridor plowing straight through the dense jungle. It's a heart-stopping sight. Ancient trees that once stood shoulder to shoulder have been toppled and shredded. Trunks are splintered and jagged. Wood shards are scattered everywhere, as if a colossal bulldozer had just rampaged through at terrifying speeds. Crushed foliage is reduced to a chaotic mess. The tranquility of the natural forest is gone, replaced by a trail of absolute destruction. The earth is churned up, and the air almost seems thick with the smell of raw sap and fresh dirt. Did he do all this? Owen can't believe his eyes. During his time with the white tiger, he had seen the beast carefully step around even the smallest sapling, as if harming any fragile life was a crime. This mindless, frenzied devastation is entirely out of character. I believe so. Claire presses her hands to her lips, stifling a gasp. She almost thinks it would take a rabid brachiosaurus to cause this kind of damage. Look at that tree. Following Dav's prompt, the three of them focus on a fallen tree at the edge of the screen. Based on the wreckage, the trunk must have been over 2 feet in diameter. The way it fell indicates something massive slammed into it with pure, blunt physical force. It doesn't look like the work of a carbon-based life form. As the camera pans, the view clears the forest and opens onto a vast savanna. Everyone stares at what is unfolding and collectively inhales sharply. My God. Right now, every inch of my body is screaming in absolute agony. It feels like thousands of microscopic insects are crawling frantically beneath my skin. From my hide, to my muscles, down to the marrow of my bones, no part of me is spared. My muscles itch like if you just endured an insane, heavy lifting workout. They feel like lead. Every movement requires monumental effort, yet this violently contradicts the blistering, wing-tearing speed I'm currently maintaining. The faster I run, the more I feel something unlocking inside me. It's like someone who has never known how to run taking their first clumsy steps, then spreading their arms to embrace what was always theirs. Deeper than the numbness spreading through me, I can distinctly feel my skeleton creaking, as if it might shatter at any moment. It is a pain that pierces the soul. Meanwhile, deep within my chest, a bizarre core is pulsing wildly, beating even faster than my heart. From that core, a maddening hunger howls through every cell. I need to eat. Right now. Ever since Henry showed up, and considering my current sheer size, I've known damn well I'm a genetically modified hybrid. I just don't know exactly what my genome entails. These bizarre symptoms definitely stem from those hidden genes. Since I started interacting with Owen, my body hasn't stopped growing at an absurd rate. Even those closest to me probably won't recognize me soon. Furthermore, I discovered I can pull the exact same tricks as the Indominus Rex thermal vision and active camouflage. I even realized the stripes on my body can glow at will. What the hell am I? A firefly? But none of that matters right now. What matters is that I am losing my mind from hunger. Through my thermal vision, I detect a cluster of massive heat signatures to the south. Dinosaurs, obviously. I don't care about their size or numbers. Right now, all I want is to tear one down and eat it. I push myself to the absolute limit. In just 3 or 4 minutes, I burst out into the open savanna. The greatest miracle of the feline family is our stealth and explosive power. Unrivaled, elongated canines and bone-crushing bite force make us the most terrifying hunters in nature. The moment I break cover, I come face to face with the nearest triceratops. 10 feet tall, 25 feet long, complete with a massive armored frill. 2 long, wicked horns on its brow and a shorter one on its snout. A walking, armored tank. The triceratops startles at my sudden appearance but quickly regains its composure. 10 tons of body weight and a massive frame give it absolute confidence. From its perspective, I probably don't look much bigger than a subadult trying. So, it growls a warning, lowers its head, and points its deadly horns straight at me to force a retreat. And, as always, the low stalking posture of a feline causes prey to misjudge, especially dinosaurs who have never seen a tiger in their lives. Staring down the prey that dares to underestimate me, I have zero intention of dodging or backing down. I don't even bother to roar. I simply launch myself forward. Instinctively, the triceratops tips its head and raises its massive frill, a move that makes it look more imposing and deters most carnivores, but gives me the perfect opening. I twist my body at full speed in mid-air, a maneuver I practice for fun in my free time, so I'm incredibly proficient at it. The head-on charge transforms into a razor-sharp, angled strike, and I land heavily on the trike's flank. The second my paws touch the ground, I'm moving. Every limb coordinates perfectly, driven by a pure feline instinct. I use the momentum of my landing to spring again, turning a head-on collision into a direct assault on the side of its neck. By the time it tries to turn its head to counter, I am already on top of it. Its lowered head has completely exposed its upper neck, and I clamp down hard. The triceratops jerks in pain and tries to pull back, angling its frill to protect its vulnerable throat, but it's too late. I have its neck locked in my jaws. My massive front limbs work in perfect harmony. The left paw swats its head down, pinning it, while the right paw digs deep into its torso for leverage. Then, a bite force of over 5 tons explodes. Enough power to punch through steel plating, let alone the most vulnerable part of any animal, the windbite. With its throat crushed, the triceratops loses all its strength. Its wide eyes freeze in disbelief as death knocks on the door. The entire fight lasts less than a minute. I strike fast and clean. I'm not the type to torture my food. I just need to eat. The moment the trike collapses, every other dinosaur in the vicinity scrambles as far away as possible, desperate to put distance between themselves and the blood-soaked predator that just appeared. I'm perfectly happy to be left alone. I get straight to work, not wasting a single second because I am starving. No ceremony needed. I rip off a thigh immediately. Listen up, people. Our target today isn't the overgrown cub from 4 months ago. We are dealing with a genuine titan, a prehistoric monster. I need everyone at 200 focus. Captain Hamada checks his weapon as he speaks, reminding his squad of the severity of the mission. Copy that, boss. They all serve together in a mercenary unit, and he has no intention of losing anyone on a corporate owl. Weapons fully loaded, ready at hand. The captain climbs into the lead off-road vehicle. With a hand signal, the convoy rolls out. The initial atmosphere is fairly relaxed. After all, they handled this white tiger easily 4 months ago. It was completely docile. Hope it goes as smoothly this time. Yeah, he's a good boy. I used to watch him play around on my breaks. Relax, it's just a tiger. How much bigger could he get in 4 months? These hardened mercenaries know nothing about genetic splicing, but they do know one truth: every creature in this park is a monster, even one that looks like a normal tiger. They reach the gate's coordinates. The convoy halts. The men dismount, their combat boots crunching on the rough terrain. They check their gear, tighten their straps, and look up at the churned-up forest ahead. Still calm. Still casual. Hamada signals with his hand. Ready. He takes the lead, the others falling in behind. Advancing on foot, their footsteps sound unnaturally loud in the dead forest, as if no other living thing remains. What the hell is this? A massive corridor, plowed through the trees by pure physical force, hits them like a punch to the gut. Looks like a heavy tank just rolled through here. Bet he was in a hurry. Hamada ignores the weak Joe. He kneels and scoops up a handful of dirt. Just rubbing it between his fingers tells him everything. The moisture, the compaction, the freshness. The earth is freshly churned and compressed so tightly he has to use force to crush the clumps. That alone indicates a terrifying amount of pressure just swept through. Treks are fresh. He's just ahead. Final weapons check. Move out. They advance in a cross-cover formation until they reach the edge of the forest, where the plains open up. The moment they cross the tree line, the tension in everyone's chests evaporates. Well, what can you say? The most well-behaved big cat in the park truly deserves his title. Over there, right next to the carcass of a triceratops, is a creature nearly as tall as a two-story house, sleeping soundly. Its snow-white fur rises and falls with every breath like a living, slumbering mountain. Back in the control room, everyone sighs in relief at the peaceful scene. Good. Just one triceratops. Within acceptable losses. But Owen's sharp eyes catch what no one else does. His attention isn't on the sleeping giant cat, it's on the eerie cleanliness of the surrounding area. There are no other dinosaurs lingering, and the triceratops skeleton is terrifyingly picked clean. An adult triceratops is about 10 feet tall, 20 to 25 feet long, and weighs 8 to 10 tons. So, what's the meat yield on that? Owen asks. He directs it at the researchers nearby. All of them are dinosaur nerds, Owen included, meaning they jump at the chance to flex their knowledge. But right now, Owen's only question is exactly how much the white tiger just consumed. The triceratops know we send the size isn't pure. We splice it with bovine na, so the meat yield is roughly 60 to 70 of total body weight. So, that animal out there provided nearly 5 tons of meat, right? Theoretically, yes. Owen kicks a nearby console in frustration. Player looks at him like he's lost his mind. Doesn't he know how expensive that equipment is? Why is eating a lot of problem? Last time we checked, the white tiger weighed 2.7 tons and stood over 6 feet at the shoulder. He's closer to 10 feet tall now. With Davis' grim analysis, Blair begins to grasp the gravity of the situation. He just ate twice his own body weight. Swallowed it, digested it, and his body literally grew larger on the spot. Is that even theoretically possible? If Henry were here, he'd probably spin some bullshit excuse. To cover up whatever genes he spliced into me, Henry cataloged thousands of species, cherry-picking the absolute apex traits from nature. But Jur, who isn't here? They can't access the genome map. But given the current situation, the cat was just hungry. Once he's full, he'll come back on his own. Blair waves it off. While losing a triceratops is rare for the preserve, it's not irreplaceable. Containment team, bring the white tiger back immediately. Copy that. The containment team slowly advances, fanning out into a perimeter around me. But Hamada taking point notices something. The purple patterns on that mountain of white fur are glowing, and the light is pulsing faster. He tries to brush the thought aside, trank it first, ask questions later. Maybe it's just firefly not. But just as he raises his shock rifle, the patterns on the white mountain suddenly flare with blinding intensity, like a bomb about to detonate. Everyone, fall back. At Hamada's scream, the men instinctively retreat. And in that exact second, the light radiating from my body peaks. Whoosh. A massive electromagnetic pulse erupts. The invisible shockwave centers on me, sweeping across the entire island. Wherever it passes, every piece of electronics instantly shorts out. What's happening? Vehicles are dead. Comms are down. In the control room, every monitor goes pitch black in an instant. Luckily, the automatic backup generators kick in, and a few screens flicker back to life. Stay calm, everyone. Just a power surge. We'll have it fixed soon. Backups are running. Watching the panicked staff and Claire's darkening face, Owen is about to speak up, but Davis grabs his arm and shoots him a meaningful look. Owen doesn't say a word, following Davis out the door. What are you doing? Owen asks, seeing Davis move with unusual urgency. Years of fighting side by side tell him something big is going down. Don't you get it? In there, we only get the answers they want us to hear. The only way to find the truth is to check for ourselves. What exactly are you planning? Something we're actually good at. Owen raises an eyebrow, smirking. Let's roll. At the exact moment the M goes off, in a yurt-like containment facility in the northeast sector of the island, the eyelid of a grotesque dinosaur, suspended in an incubation tank, twitches. Back at the scene, Hamada furiously smacks the switch on his stun baton, desperately hoping it's just a technical glitch. But it's completely dead. The utter silence shatters the last of the mercenary's courage. Right now, he is drenched in cold sweat, his clothes clinging to his skin. The clammy chill makes him nauseous. The radiant heat washing over him from the beast right in front of him makes him tremble uncontrollably. His eyes are glued to the colossal head staring down at him. There is no doubt in his mind those jaws could swallow his upper half in a single bite. The head alone is over 3 feet wide. Wait. The report said he was just over 6 feet tall. Is 6 feet the height of your dance ceiling? Nearly 10 feet tall, and you generously round down to 6. He'd have to jump just to touch its shoulder. While it could end his life with a flick of its head, the rest of the squad stares blankly at the giant white beast, trying to hold their nerve. But the fear leaks out. Pupils dilate, sweat pours, and hands grip useless weapons, so tightly their knuckles turn white. Standing in an open field facing a 10-foot-tall tiger. No one believes their legs could carry them to safety. Melee combat. Even Maasai warriors need 7 or 8 men to take down a lion. And this is a tiger, a 10-foot, genetically modified monster. Zero chance of winning. You still remember me, right, buddy? Hamada tries to keep his voice as friendly as humanly possible. He used to visit me occasionally, and to be honest, nobody in the park hated me. Teasing a giant white cat who wouldn't love that. I blink at the human in front of me. Frankly, I have face blindness. Foreigners all look the same to me, except for a few movie stars I recognize. Roar. I give a half-hearted, obligatory grunt to acknowledge I heard him, turn my massive rear end, and casually stroll toward home. The mercenaries watch the giant beast start moving, heading straight back to its enclosure. The tension evaporates from their shoulders. Good. He's still the good boy they know. Tap, what's our next move? What do you think? Get back to the trucks and grab the gear. Hamada flicks the forehead of the nearest merc. Sometimes he wonders what's inside these guys' heads. Mush. No matter how docile it is right now, it could slaughter the whole squad without breaking a sweat. How can you feel safe without a working weapon in your hands? Move. In the control room, player tracks the blinking red dot heading back toward the old enclosure, and finally breathes a sigh of relief. Good job, everyone. Situation resolved. Looks like the white tiger is still the animal we know. He's heading home. I'm picking up anomalous signals around that sector. Now what? Player turns around with a heavy sigh. She feels utterly exhausted. Nothing but a string of damn alarms lately. He's on his way back. What else could possibly go wrong? Multiple dinosaur vitals are triggering threat alerts. They are all in distress. Based on the signal vectors, their path is going to intersect with the white tiger. Where are the camera feeds? Processing. Oh, man. After typing frantically for a minute, nothing comes up. Static and corrupted data flood the screen, causing Lowery to slam his keyboard in frustration. That end earlier. It fried every camera in the sector. Message the containment team. Full alert. If they encounter anything abnormal, subdue it immediately. Deep in the dense jungle, a mammoth white tiger strolls leisurely, entirely unbothered. 2 human off-road vehicles follow closely behind, looking less like an escort, and more like the King's Royal Guard. Hearing the dispatch from control, the captain glances at me, an animal large enough to rest its chin on the roof of their truck, and figures the people in the control room are worrying over nothing. What kind of lunatic would mess with a tiger of this size? He bets even a T-Rex would back down. The rippling muscles on my legs alone are enough of a deterrent. I completely ignore the humans trailing me. I'm busy checking my own body. After that meal, the strange core inside me feels more reactive, like it's full and settling down. As for the imp I accidentally unleashed in my sleep, I vaguely remember it, but to me, it felt like a sneeze. I have no idea what it actually did. Right now, I just want to go back to my cave and sleep. I couldn't care less about the humans. It was just one triceratops. I saw a whole herd roaming the plains. A tiger like me is obviously a hybrid at the very least. I should be on par with the Indominus Rex, right? Combine that with my track record of good behavior, and my value to the park. My life is definitely worth more than one triceratops. Rationalizing it like that, I feel utterly untouchable. As long as I don't attack humans, I can do whatever I want in this park. Then a pause. I stare at the ancient trees I shattered on my way out. I remember my elbows scraping them during my sprint. I lift my front paw to measure the gap. I've definitely grown again, haven't I? I look at my white, purple-tipped claws, then at the off-road vehicle next to me. My paw is bigger than their hood. Will I keep growing? Who knows? I'm not even 2 years old, and tigers don't fully mature until they were 3 or 4. Ew, here we go again. I find a sturdy ancient tree, lean against it, and start rubbing my back, specifically my shoulder blades, against the bark. Ah, that itches. Ever since I ate, the itch on my shoulders has been getting worse. It's not a surface itch. It's under the skin, drilling straight into the bone marrow. I have no idea what's causing it. Don't tell me I'm actually sprouting wings. Aerodynamics are still a thing. You know, people always say a winged tiger is the ultimate predator. But practically, my current feline build is already the apex of nature. Adding wings would demand an astronomical daily caloric intake. Birds sacrifice everything for flight. They streamline their bodies so much their digestive tracts can't even hold waste. Eat and excrete immediately. So if you force a creature like me to grow wings, they'd just be useless ornaments. And frankly, there's no way I'd ever get off the ground. I don't want to turn into a giant, flightless chicken. But the humans walking behind me, watching a giant tiger scratch its back against a 5-foot thick tree. The bark splinters and groans under the pressure, and they stare in absolute bewilderment as the trunk literally splits down the middle. Is that crack real? Finally, the tingling itch subsides, and I spare the poor tree. The bizarre convoy one tiger, a bunch of humans continues. But something is wrong. Very wrong. Why am I picking up a massive heat signature to mine right? And why is it closing in at terrifying speed? In the blink of an eye, the signal is less than 500 yards away. I snap my head toward the sound. My body lowers, every muscle coiling tight, ready to unleash hell. Hamada notices my shift in posture, and immediately signals the trucks to halt. My reaction proves there is something nearby capable of threatening me. Squad, combat stations. Everyone grab whatever gear still works. He rallies the team, shifting into a defensive formation, backing up against my flanks and rear as closely as they dare. They listen to my slow, rhythmic breathing. Even at its quietest, it sounds like the idling engine of a primal machine, deep and resonant like a heavy motorcycle. Thud. But the enemy is approaching. Heavy footsteps start drumming against their eardrums. Everyone's heart leaps into their throat. Back. A small tree snaps, and the enemy steps into the light. Whether it's me in a stalking crouch, the humans standing beside me, or even the staff watching through restored cameras in the control room, everyone's jaw drops. They forget to breathe. Because the creature standing before them is horrifyingly wrong. A dinosaur with a body structure similar to a baryonyx steps into full view. Its forelimbs alone are long enough to scrape the ground. Jagged quills run down its elbows and spine, and its tail bristles with poisonous spikes like a giant scorpion. Every detail screams death. Its skin is a mild dark gray, its snout shorter and rounder than a normal theropods. A few people recognize a spine-chilling sensation they can't quite articulate. Its face looks uncomfortably human. Pure uncanny valley. It spots me and the armed humans, seeming to register something. It leans forward, as if finding the prey it was hunting, and lets out a challenging, blood-curdling shriek. I roar back. Annoyed. I'm lazy. I hate fighting, but that doesn't mean I'm scared. If anything, seeing this freak challenge me reignite a combat drive I thought I'd lost. Cross-reference the database. I want to know what the hell that is, and where it came from. Player barks. Her staff instantly start tapping. Found it. Carnivore, obviously. That hideous aesthetic says it all. Nothing good comes in a package like that. But whatever it is, it didn't evolve naturally. Almost definitely another genetic hybrid. And who's behind it? Do we even need to ask? Henry, again. Blair had seen hybrid specimens before. Whether it was the Indominus Rex under heavy lockdown, or the gentle white tiger, two creatures on opposite ends of the behavioral spectrum, at least they were aesthetically pleasing. Me, with my snow white fur and purple stripes, I'm honestly gorgeous. But this thing. It looks like someone mashed a giant scorpion and a mid-sized carnivore into the same body. That stubby snout, those freakish eyes, and the vague human features. Just thinking about it gives Claire goosebumps. Send Team 2 to assist immediately. Boss, are they cleared for lethal force? She hesitates. She truly doesn't know. She has no idea if this monstrosity is considered a valuable corporate asset. Nobody briefed her on this when she took the job. No one told her the park had so many variants, so she can't make the call. Is this thing protected property? Cleared to engage, but under no circumstances is anyone to use lethal force unless absolutely necessary. Claire is torn. The burden of management and the lives of her employees pull her in opposite directions, and there are no hee-hee answers. Ultimately, she can only hope the freak is as cooperative as I am. But while they debate the uninvited guest, the fight has already begun. Facing this hideous creature, I hyper-focus. Every sense is dialed to the max. Actually, I tried to communicate first. What if we shared now? Like the Indominus and the raptors. If a fight can be avoided, avoid it. But the second I made a sound, the seemingly still creature shrieked like a maniac and lunged straight at me. It threw the first punch. What am I supposed to do? Burrow down, obviously. I don't like fighting, but I never back down. Two titans collide at maximum speed. The moment of impact creates a violent shockwave, picking up dirt and debris so thick it obscures the view. After the first clash, I immediately realize its raw strength is vastly inferior to mine, so I disengage to reset the board. I'd also noticed that while we are shoulder to shoulder in height, its long neck makes its head tower over mine. So what if it's taller? When the Scorpius Rex lunges again, I rear up on my hind legs and unleash the ultimate feline weapon, the rapid-fire slap. Standing upright, I tower over 16 feet tall. I look like a force of nature. I actually have to angle my strikes down to hit its head. A swipe force of over 20 tons crashes down. Left, right, left, right. The creature is completely disoriented, staggering with every hit. But as I rain down blows, I notice something off. No matter how many times I hit, no matter how far it gets knocked back, it doesn't seem to take any real damage. Just how tanky is this thing? When the two giants clash, the humans scramble backward, watching the battle of dragons and tigers. Yay, they all look incredibly calm, because the advantage is so heavily in my favor. From a human perspective, it looks like the weird dinosaur is voluntarily offering its face up to be slapped. After dozens of useless hits, I get bored and change tactics. I slam both my front paws down onto its lanky arms, then open my jaws and clamp down hard on its neck. It's eaten countless blows, and perhaps it learned a lesson. Because now, whenever the Scorpius Rex attacks, it lowers its head and shifts to a four-legged charge. For me, that's child's play. A slight sidestep easily dodges it. All it does is offer up its upper neck right into my bite zone. But I can clearly see the reverse barbed quills covering its body. Nothing good comes from those spikes. So, instead of a full bite, I only bite halfway. Even so, the pressure is enough to crush its windpipe. It's mine now. The moment I lock its neck, I throw my entire weight forward, pinning the Scorpius Rex to the ground. This is only possible because of my current build, a shoulder height of nearly 8 feet, a length of over 16 feet, and a weight surpassing 6 tons. In both mass and length, I completely outclass this 11-foot tall, 26-foot long freak. And the scariest part, despite growing far beyond the limits of any feline, I retain 100 of their extreme agility, as proven during my trike hunt in the obstacle-filled forest earlier. No matter how fast the Scorpius Rex thinks it is, it's nothing but a punching bag for me. But just as I crush its throat, preparing to choke it out, I hear a whistling sound tear through the air near my ear. Instinctively, I leap back. I don't bother wondering if the attack would actually hurt me. I have the absolute upper hand. I can win this with overwhelming power. Why take pointless risks? Play it safe, win clean. And thanks to that perfectly timed retreat, I narrowly dodge a lethal sneak attack. I can feel my fur brush against the object as it whips past. I stand my ground, locking eyes with the Scorpius Rex as it scrambles up. Now I see what tried to assassinate me, a tail bristling with scorpion stingers, curled and ready to strike again. One look tells me it's packed with venom. And it is. One sting is enough to drop a Brachiosaurus. The Scorpius Rex pulls itself up, staring at the enemy, who just pinned it without breaking a sweat. If it hadn't swung that tail at the absolute last second, it would be dead. The monster that thought itself invincible is now backing away in fear. Seeing it retreat, I assume it's terrified and ready to bolt. But until it's out of sight, I keep my muscles coiled tight. I have absolutely no interest in chasing it down for a fight to the death. For what? I'm here to enjoy the pampered life of a protected pet, not to throw my life away in a pointless brawl. That's right. Piss off and leave me alone, Eeyore, not caring if it understands. To me, it's just the equivalent of talking trash after a street fight before walking away. But heroically, just as the Scorpius Rex is about to retreat, the heavily armed mercenaries nearby suddenly find their courage and stealthily close the net. I see the whole thing perfectly. One of them raises a net gun, ready to pull the trigger. Are you people insane? Just because I can beat it doesn't mean you can. And look at those dead stun batons. You think this is a cattle drive? And a guy with a lasso gun. As the humans inch closer, just reaching optimal range, something triggers the Scorpius Rex. Maybe my roar. Or maybe the advancing humans triggered its defense mechanism. It shrieks like a banshee and launches a full frontal assault. My patience officially evaporates. I gave you an out, and this is how you repay me. I drop to all fours and charge back with a deafening roar. No holding back this time. Playtime is over. The Scorpius Rex leans forward, dropping to a four-legged sprint on its lanky arms. It's pathetic. That speed is slower than its bipedal run, and vastly slower than mine. The moment we collide, My massive claws slam its head straight into the dirt. The momentum of its own charge plows a deep trench into the earth. Under my terrifying downward pressure, its front limbs collapse. Those spindly arms offer zero resistance, and its flailing hind legs can push it back up. I don't miss a beat. The second it loses its footing, I slam my front paws down, flipping its entire body onto its side, and sink my teeth into the weakest point, the throat. Snap. No suspense. No surprises. The moment a tiger's jaws find the prey's throat, it's over. The mercenaries who had been reduced to spectators from start to finish watch the scene unfold with a chill running down their spines. They realize a fundamental truth: without heavy weaponry, humans have no right to step foot on a battlefield like this. In the control room, Claire watches me roar proudly after my one-hit kill and wrestles with her inner turmoil. After a moment, she waves the thought away. Wherever that freakish dinosaur came from, it's Henry's problem. His monsters, his mess. After slaying another monster, the giant white cat, looking like a snowy mountain, lounges obediently on his throne. Staff swarm around me running all sorts of tests and measurements. Because I am in a fantastic mood today, I generously let them do whatever they want. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity they can't pass up. Because no matter how gentle I am, once my stubborn streak flares up, they could yell themselves hoarse and I wouldn't cooperate. I won't bite anyone's head off, but casually swiping my tail across someone's shins and tripping them as I walk by. Too easy. Sometimes I play dumb. I'll stroll past, give a gentle nudge that sends someone tumbling, then put on a face that says, I have absolutely no idea what just happened. Truly the smartest, most mischievous creature in the whole park. Alright, the results are in. Everyone, look at these new metrics. The staff are past the point of being surprised by anything. Shoulder height 8. 6 feet. Body length 16. 9 feet. Tail length 9. 5 feet. And finally, the number everyone is most curious about. Because for a wild animal, sheer mass is the ultimate decider of its place in the food chain. Whether I was engineered for strength or agility, in the end, raw weight talks. But staring at the report, Claire's face darkens. She glances at me, currently yawning widely, and asks with a hint of confusion, are our scales broken? Boss. We used 3 different scales. All 3 gave the exact same results. Claire rubs her temples. She doesn't even know how to write this report. What is she supposed to say? That their tiger escaped, ate a triceratops 3 times its weight, came back weighing twice as much with only a slight increase in size, and called that normal. As for the freak hybrid that died on the way, still no clue where it came from. The only thing they have to go on are the spliced genes in its body, almost certainly Henry's were, likely created before the Indominus Rex. Deeper analysis shows that every keel on its body was coated in highly lethal venom, especially the tail. Initial estimates suggest a single sting could drop an adult Brachiosaurus. Luckily, probably thanks to the combat instincts carved into my now, I didn't let a single quill touch me, and finished it off at high speed without a hitch. Just as Claire tries to swallow her frustration, she notices Owen and Davis suddenly appearing out of nowhere, circling me and observing. Owen. Owen turns at his name, a look of resigned reluctance on his face. Davis shoots him a good luck glance. Walking over to Claire, Owen absorbs the full brunt of her annoyed energy, and not for the first time, he wonders, why did I ever think we were a perfect match? But the messy history between Claire and Owen is a story for another time. Meanwhile, receiving VIP grooming from the staff, I sprawl out on the ground in a state of absolute bliss. Belly totally exposed. Now I'd understand why cats love getting scratched so much. It's unbelievable. The fur that was bristling during the fight is now perfectly smooth, pinking soft and silky. Looking at this massive, fluff, adorable mountain of snow-white fur, one guy risks it all, and buries his hands in it for a good ruffle. So incredibly soft. But Davis, standing at a distance thinking about what he and Owen just discovered, can't bring himself to step forward and touch me, no matter how harmless I look right now. I glance at the bald, muscular man without much feeling. I remember he stared in a lot of movies, especially those street racing ones, pulling down a helicopter with his bare hands. Hard to forget. But if Owen can be here, Davis being here isn't weird. Neither of them is getting in my way. It's not like he drove a car through the Jurassic Park walls to get in. I shift to find a more comfortable angle, and stretch out, soaking up every bit of attention from the humans around me. This is the life. Chicago. Henry sits in a relaxed, comfortable posture, leaning back slightly, one leg crossed over the other, swinging gently. A faint smile plays on his lips, his eyes reflecting the tranquility of a man entirely satisfied with reality. He seems to be savoring the quiet of the moment, his mind drifting freely. His left hand rests lightly on a black briefcase. Right now, he feels phenomenal. What is more satisfying than achieving a groundbreaking triumph in your life's passion? Well, look who it is. Ooh, so glad you could make it. It's Brett Whiten, head of Inchin. Pleasure to see you, Brett, Henry replied, shaking his hand with a warm smile before they both step into the conference hall. We've met before, ladies and gentlemen. But at Chairman Brett's invitation, I am here today to present a special initiative, Project Fury. Henry stands at the podium with effortless poise, pitching to a room packed with suited executives. He's done this so many times it's second nature. First, let's review some of my personal creations. The main screen lights up with footage of dinosaurs hunting and feeding. To this crowd, it's nothing shocking. As industry leaders, they've already sampled everything Jurassic World has to offer. Impressive, sure, but superficial. It's more novelty than innovation, like a high-tech zoo. We want to see something extraordinary. Of course. Ivy saved the best for last. He skips straight to the finale. And as the files and footage hit the screen, the room collectively leans forward. The Indominus Rex. She carries the DNA of 14 different species, each pushing her to the absolute limit in a specific field. Fully grown, we project she will stand 22 feet tall, 55 feet long, and weigh approximately 20 tons. Thanks to her teeth are fully exposed and jagged. Terrifying to look at, but absolutely justified by the damage they inflict. She has about 74 teeth, and thanks to pit viper now, her jaws can open up to 120 degrees to bite. Hellfish and tree frog now allow her to change color, blending into almost any environment effortlessly. Printed now grants her forelimbs flexibility far beyond standard theropods, even allowing her to move on all fours when necessary. The quasi-human hand structure gives her genuine grasping capability. Most importantly, Pit Viper DNA allows her to hunt via thermal sensing while also regulating her own body temperature. This completely masks her thermal signature, rendering thermal tracking useless. Her only limitation is speed. Her massive frame means she isn't an elite sprinter, but she can still hit 30 nymph. And thanks to a unique physical structure combining Carnotaurus and Velociraptor genes, her legs generate explosive power, sustaining long-distance charges. But that is still not our ultimate goal. What we are really aiming for is a creature that is stealthier, deadlier, and smarter. With just a bit more genetic engineering, we can create the perfect invisible assassin. And best of all, no pension plans required. At this, Brett himself cracks a joke about the modern military, drawing a roar of laughter from the room. Rest assured, when we synthesize all these elements, we will deliver a product that vastly exceeds your investment. Bathed in the brilliant morning light rising from the east, a colossal, snow-white tiger roars freely to greet the new day. Golden rays wash over my fur, casting a radiant halo that makes my majestic form look even more magnificent. Head held high, jaws wide open. The roar I unleash is so deafening the world itself seems to tremble in response. Sound waves ripple through the air, sending nearby birds scattering from the canopy in a panic. Even the Carnotaurus in its paddock miles away rumbles back timidly. My deep amber eyes burn with a wild, inner fire, and every strand of my fur catches the light. After my daily morning roar, I slowly lay down lazily, ready to enjoy whatever the humans have prepared for me today. Right on cue, the gates open. A small convoy rolls in. Staff members in white lab coats and face masks step out, carrying all sorts of brushes and towels. I settle onto my throne and lay perfectly still. The staff swarm around me, beginning their daily routine. The great white tiger slowly lifts his hill-sized head, relaxes his limbs, and silently broadcasts the king is ready. The highly trained team moves quickly, soft bristled brushes in hand. Their movements are gentle and expert as they groom the king. The brushes glide over my thick, snowy coat. Every stroke is careful, every motion filled with reverence. Of course, there's always someone sneaking a handful of fur to ruffle, and considering how well they serve me, I graciously ignore it. Others kneel beside me, carefully tending to the fur around my neck. Nimble fingers weave through the coat, brushing softly, terrified of causing the noble beast even a sliver of discomfort. I soak up every second of it. Eyes half closed, a deep purr rumbles from my throat, rolling through the air like a seal of approval for my loyal servants. As the grooming wraps up, I catch the scent of food. A heavy-duty dump truck packed with meat rolls slowly in, like tribute offered to a monarch. They stand up. The staff collectively step back. They know the Titan is about to dine. I pad over her with silent, graceful steps and take my spot beside the truck. I don't even need them to dump the meat. Standing up, my head easily clears the 8-foot side of the bed. That 30 by 12-foot cargo bed is my dinner plate. To make it easier to reach, I prop my upper body up, resting my 2 front paws on the side panels, leaving deep, paw-shaped dents in the reinforced steel. Booty music blasts from the truck speakers. I don't understand the lyrics, but who cares? This is the royal life. I plunge my head into the truck bed. Beef. Time to get to work. The sound of ravenous tearing echoes through the air, and the entire truck groans and creaks under my weight. With every passing second, it feels like the truck might collapse. But I try to keep most of my weight on my hind legs. This truck works great. If I break it, the replacement might not be as good. That would be annoying. Dinner is done. I don't even bother cleaning the scraps around my mouth or face. I leisurely stroll back to my throne at my own pace. The staff who backed away rush back in. Tools in hand, they touch up my fur and wipe my face clean. They even bring out a specialized tool, reaching into my gaping jaws to pick my teeth. After that, all I have to do is drift into a deep, peaceful sleep while my subjects clean up the mess. If every day is like this, I want to be a tiger in my next life too. Dad watches me sleep, envy written all over his face. But that's as far as it goes. Human entertainment can't be satisfied by just lying around all day. Davhas, any word from Jonas yet? Bone, fresh from a training session with his raptors, hurries over to check on his other favorite companion. But seeing my lazy posture and the staff operating like a well-oiled machine, he feels completely redundant. Still, just to be safe, he asks Davs to keep an eye on me while he's gone. The park has bottomless pockets, and they hired Davis as a temporary security consultant for me. No response yet. But my gut says he'll call you directly. I know how tight you two are. Right as they were chatting, Owen's phone buzzes. It's Jur. Oh. Davis thinks to himself, see. Told you they were tight. Deep in my slumber, I feel something warm pressing against me. I crack one eye open to see little Annie pounding both her fists against my head. To me, her best effort feels like a light pat. I slowly stand up, like a mountain rising. Annie looks up at the colossal creature whose thigh alone is taller than her. Even though she knows me well, she takes a step back. I give a lazy sort to signal message received, and stroll toward the gate. Annie watches me, dutifully leave, and shakes her head with a helpless smile. At another facility, Henry stares intensely at his computer screen, lost in thought. Hearing a noise outside, he hits a button on his desk, and the doors slide open. A creature taller than a 2-story building steps inside. Truth be told, ever since returning from Chicago, Henry has completely lost interest in the fate of his first prototype, the Scorpius Rex that I personally killed. He even cheered when he watched the playback of my one-hit kill. In Henry's eyes, the Scorpius Rex was supposed to be as powerful as the Indominus. Its venomous kills were more than enough to ruin any opponent's day in the first clash. Yet, in its first life or death encounter, I dismantled it with flawless precision. Far from holding a grudge, he immediately expanded the facilities around me, building a brand new research center. He even designed a custom 16-foot tall by 10-foot wide gate just to fit me. But now, looking at the 14-foot tall monster standing before him, Henry thinks to himself, maybe I should have built the gate a little bigger. After all, by tighter standards, I'm not even 2 years old. Plenty of time to keep growing. Engine people are coming today to evaluate your progress. When they arrive, wait for my signal. Don't act too smart or too strong. Engine not just Henry's biggest backer, but the primary reason for his Chicago trip. They want to weaponize dinosaurs for the military, and commission Jur. Would create creatures to spec. That is the real reason behind the Indominus Rex, and the Raptor hybrids. If Henry had never looked outside his lab, he might have been content providing exactly what they wanted, trading his creations for fame and funding. But now, he sees a bigger picture. They too. The name Engine rings a bell. Based on Henry's description, the fat guy from the movies is definitely their man. They are obsessed with creating biological war machines to replace human soldiers, and dinosaurs are their top pick. Now it seems I'm in their crosshairs. That is bad news. The absolute last thing I want in this world is to be someone's war machine. All I want is a peaceful, luxurious lie. So, I give a firm nod of my massive head. Wu repeats the request just to be sure I understand. Then, he pulls out a vial of crimson liquid, his greatest pride. Years ago, when he first learned of a rare plant called blood blue, he pivoted to serum research as a side project. Years of testing it on me proved one thing: this serum easily replenishes animal energy and sometimes produces results beyond even his expectations. Judgment Day is coming, and honestly, I'm looking forward to it too. I can tell Henry is constantly tweaking the formula. Because even though I've reached this colossal size, that tiny vial still emits a fatally intoxicating scent, and it still packs enough punch to restore the massive amounts of energy my body demands. The moment I get to taste the fruits of Henry's labor is fast approaching. As we both sink into our own thoughts. That evening, Engine's head of security, the man obsessed with weaponizing dinosaurs, Victor Hoskins, arrives at the research sector. Hoskins is a heavyset, middle-aged man with salt and pepper hair and a neatly trimmed beard. He stands behind reinforced glass, mesmerized by a pale giant stalking within the enclosure. Thanks to genetic splicing, the Indominus Rex has reached 50 feet in length, making her the undisputed largest carnivore on the island, excluding the aquatic Mosasaurus, which isn't technically a dinosaur. Add in her countless special abilities, and she is a near-perfect war machine. Hoskins can hardly hide his satisfaction. Henry maintains his neutral expression. Next, let's look at the other specimen. Hoskins nods eagerly. 10 minutes later, they move from the walled breeding zone to an even larger enclosure. Seeing the scale of this paddock compared to the Indominus's, Hoskins expects the beast inside to be an absolute apex predator. And then, he and Henry look down. A massive white cat is lounging on its throne like a lazy old man. Motionless, happily letting humans wait on him hand and foot. Both men's faces twitch. This is absolutely not what Hoskins pictured. He senses zero energy or combat drive from this animal. A failed fusion experiment. It looks exactly like a liger. Grows insanely fast, and might even get bigger than the Indominus one day. But full of defects. Just walking could probably kill it. What is that music? A heavy, thumping beat echoes through the space. The lyrics are wild and trashy. Is that booty music? He loves that song. We let him pick, and he chose this one. He even taps his paw to the beat. Henry replies with deadpan seriousness. Hoskins glares down again. It even waits for the humans to spoon-feed it. The verdict is instant. Or reject. Doctor, I want you to create more assets like the Indominus. But Wu replies calmly, of course, I will continue my research. But creating something on the level of the Indominus isn't cheap. After getting the nut for a new round of funding from Hoskins, Henry walks down to the paddock floor. I stand next to him, watching Hoskins leave. I turn my head and let out a weird noise at Jur. Whoa. Translation: go make the red serum. I am hungry. Or more accurately, waiting for dinner. Bring out the serum for quality assurance. Henry clearly gets the message. He smiles, turns back to the lab, and dives into his work without another word. The next morning, Jurassic World welcomes a new day. Another ferry packed with tourists rolls through the park gates. Zach and Gray, two brothers, blend into the crowd. Their aunt is none other than Claire, the park's operations manager. That's exactly why their mother sent them to Jurassic World for vacation. While the older brother Zach drags his feet in boredom, the younger Gray is practically vibrating with excitement. The main events of Jurassic World are kicking off. Their mother hoped Claire would personally give them a tour, but Claire is too busy. She assigns her assistant Zara to babysit them. Claire herself is busy pitching to investors. Ever since Dinosaur Dino was extracted from ancient mosquitoes trapped in amber, and cloning became reality, a whole generation has grown up in a world where dinosaurs are real. But as dinosaurs became normalized, investors started wondering if Jurassic World was losing its edge. Claire responded with the Indominus Rex, and it were. A management size. To keep guests coming back, they need dinosaurs that are bigger, scarier, and more thrilling than ever before. As the investors leave satisfied, Claire stops by the control room to check on recent breakouts. A herbivore breaching containment is a minor hiccup here, handled and filed away in under an hour. Is the white tiger ready to work today? Yes, he's in a great mood today. Perfect. Let him out. Since I arrived on this island, park security has improved drastically. There isn't a single dinosaur on this island that hasn't tasted my claws. Later, Claire and park owner Simon Mesrini visit the Indominus Rex enclosure. Standing before the glass wall that amazed Hoskins the day before, Simon runs his hand over a crack in the glass. Is she always like this? Always so aggressive? Yes. I was hoping she'd be cooperative like the white tiger. Lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place. Not every animal can be like him. Then I'll be leaning on you more. I'm missing a dinosaur bodyguard. Simon laughs. The white tiger really is incredibly gentle. So well behaved he even lets people climb on his back. They know, I rode him myself. He always throws us off the second he notices. But still, I rode on the back of a giant tiger, didn't I? Too bad nobody got a picture. As he speaks, the Indominus Rex emerges from the tree line. The monstrous head snarled, stabbing its prey in half. Thanks to me, Owen and Henry have met several times to exchange views on animal behavior. At Owen's suggestion, Henry ensured the Indominus is fed live prey rather than using automated cranes to drop lifeless slabs of meat. Cinna nods in satisfaction. Bigger, more aggressive. Exactly what he asked for. While not as gentle as me, it more than qualifies as a star attraction. At this point, the Indominus hardly matters anymore. Simon has already drafted plans to upgrade Jurassic World into a fully realized ancient ecosystem. When that day comes, he can look John Hammond in the eye and proudly say he built something greater. His eye drifts back to the cracked glass. He frowns. This is a security risk. As a responsible owner, Simon immediately orders Claire to consult dinosaur expert Owen on paddock security. Few people know Claire and Owen used to date, and Claire isn't thrilled about the task, but she goes, professional as always. Meanwhile, Owen is sprawled across my soft belly, ignoring the rest of the world. The warm, plush fur makes him feel like he's lying on a cloud. Right after Hoskins was dealt with, I got bored and jumped out. Honestly, that enclosure couldn't hold me anyway. I was wandering around when Owen waved me over to break up a scuffle among some Pterosaurs. Having nothing better to do, I lent a paw. Ever since the first time I strolled out and casually broke up a dinosaur fight, Claire's team has been overflowing with ideas. Why not let the ultimate beast handle beastly problems? And thus, the Tiger Guardian role was born. Of course, the awkward part is that everything depends on my mood. If I feel like it, I handle it. If I don't, I won't even twitch an ear when Owen calls my name. Owen checks his phone, pats my side, and says, I gotta go. Have fun. Just don't scare anyone to death. Get lost. I roll over onto my back, exposing my belly to the sun. There truly is nothing better than lounging in the grass like this. Watching me drift off to sleep, Owen shakes his head and drives off. Once he's out of sight, I'm wide awake. Looking at the same old dinosaurs wandering around is boring. Compared to the dinosaurs that scream and scatter whenever they see me, I'm much more interested in the human zones, the tourist areas. There's so much more fun stuff there. My nose alone is enough to map out all of Jurassic World. Filtering through thousands of human scents, I lock onto an area packed with juvenile and subadult herbivores. Active camo engaged. I stroll through the entire sector without drawing a single look, from humans or cameras. With pit viper no woven into my genome, I am completely invisible to thermal imaging. As for the Keats tracker, I mastered manipulating the EMP a long time ago. By tweaking the electrical charge running through my fur, I generate a localized magnetic field that easily jams any signal within a 30-foot radius. And what I'm most proud of is that I figured all this out myself, leaving the control room staff tearing their hair out, convinced their systems were glitching. Henry watched it all quietly, thought it over, and eventually suggested removing my tracker entirely. After all, I am the most reliable creature in the entire park. Habit is a terrifying thing. So what now? I know every corner of the tourist zone by heart. I weave through the enclosures without thinking, find an open section of fencing, and vault over. I've used this trick before to sneak into the T-Rex paddock to watch the ante. The T-Rex is truly the veteran of Jurassic World. Old in every sense of the word. Her body is a tapestry of scars. Every scar just makes her look cooler, more badass. In the entire Jurassic World timeline, if Henry is the human male lead, the second brightest star is none other than the queen standing before me, old Grandma Rexe. If you remember correctly, she was born in 1988, making her 26 right now. Is that old for a dinosaur? All I know is that when she went 1-1 with the Indominus, she completely dominated the early rounds. That massive skull is a heavy weapon, but her hardware just couldn't keep up. The Indominus played dirty. Those freakish, long arms could probably out-arm wrestle the Rhinoceros. And compared to her later fight against the Giganotosaurus, that one got really ugly. The old queen almost died. Maybe it's the same instinct as standing a movie star. I keep coming back just to look at her. But weirdly enough, the more I visit, the more my brain subconsciously drafts a long list of ways to take her down. I shake off those weird thoughts, and remind myself of my own advantages. Quadruple stance, superior core strength. I can easily topple an either opponent. Felines are masters of the takedown. And against a top-heavy opponent like a theropod, they practically look built to be wrestled. Once they hit the ground, the tiger wins. Period. But no matter how careful I was during those visits, she caught me once. Luckily, it was near midnight, no tourists around. So, I dropped the camo and we threw down. The result? He won. Obviously. I barely even broke a sweat. Just stood on my hind legs and hit her with a rapid-fire slap she couldn't land a single counter. Honestly, with those stubby arms, she's less dangerous than the Scorpius Rex. Every time she charged, all I saw was a massive skull served up on a platter. After enough painful lessons, the T-Rex realized I wasn't even 2 years old yet. That this weird, small creature was just as massive as her, and crushed her with pure physical force. Still, she understands I don't really view her as a threat. I'm just an overgrown cub teasing her for fun. Since then, every time I sneak in to mess with her, she chooses to ignore me. Over at the Gentle Giants petting zoo, I steer clear of the crowds, and easily scale a massive tree with a few light bounds, taking in the whole scene from above. It doesn't take long to spot Zach and Gray, the two main characters of the upcoming disaster. Gray is on his tiptoes, his face glowing with excitement, watching the Triceratops and Ornithonomus roam the enclosure. Children's laughter echoes everywhere alongside their parents. Kids are getting up close and personal with dinosaurs all over the place. Meanwhile, Zach is staring at his phone, looking bored to death. Before long, the hyperactive Gray drags his reluctant older brother to the T-Rex paddock. The brothers press against the glass, mesmerized by the Rex's meal. Against a 45-foot Rex, the little goat never stood a chance. If it weren't tethered, its speed might have let it escape. But it's chained. When the Rex bursts from the trees and swallows the goat whole in one smooth bite, the crowd behind the glass erupts in gasps and cheers. The brothers are completely enthralled. The gory scene doesn't scare the teens, it pumps adrenaline straight into their veins. But then, still riding the high, Gray spots something weird through the glass. An unnatural distortion behind the Rex, like a patch of clear air shifting. For a split second, he catches a blurry streak of white and pale purple. But when he blinks, it's gone. Nothing there. Did you see that? See what? Zach lowers his phone, sighing as he humors his brother. There was something huge behind the Rex. And I think it can turn invisible. Bullshit. You're seeing things. Chameleons don't get that big. Besides, this is the T-Rex paddock. You think the Rex would just let anything else live in there with her? Faced with his brother's bulletproof logic, Gray reluctantly drops it, but he can't shake the feeling that what he saw was real, and quite possibly an apex predator. Spying a clear glass sphere rolling across the grass below, an indescribable urge surges through me. My claws start to itch. Are all cats just hardwired to lose their minds over spheres? Active canal and thermal suppression in cage. I casually stroll through the herd of dinosaurs without a care. Standing taller than a 2-story building, I could snap the neck of any dinosaur here without breaking a sweat. Even the legendary giant Brachiosaurus is nothing more than a high jump target practice for me. Right now, at full stretch, I can pin a Triceratops to the dirt. With a little reach, I can easily grab an Apatosaurus by the neck. Frankly, with my current build, even if I face the Indominus Rex head on right now, I wouldn't blink twice. Then again, if I can avoid a fight, you will. Deep down, I'm a pacifist, and pure laziness stops me from lifting a paw unless it's for fun. And a deafening roar shreds the peaceful atmosphere. The entire savannah descends into chaos. Any dinosaur in earshot of that death cry scrambles for its life. The two brothers are caught right in the middle of a stampeding herd, their heads spinning. They've never heard a tighter swore. They don't know what's coming, but judging by the panic around them, it has to be something colossal. Wait, this isn't right. The guide said this area is herbivores only. Where is a carnivore coming from? But the answer arrives before they can finish the thought. The absurdly massive beast appears. Trapped inside the gyrosphere, Gray wonders if he took a running jump. Could he even touch the monster's thigh? Zach, the older brother, is already frantically ripping at the control stick. Whatever the hell that thing is, and wherever it came from, those 12-inch fangs make one thing obvious: it eats meat. The promo video said the glass could stop a bullet, but Zach has zero interest in testing that with his life. But amidst the stampede, every time the sphere tries to turn, a dinosaur slams into it. Whether it's a Triceratops headbutting it with a skull like a boulder, a Brachiosaurus rolling over it like a moving wall, or a Stegosaurus swinging its spiked tail, the sphere is knocked around and spun wildly in every direction. Watching this cunny play out, I plop my rear end on the grass, plant my front paws, and enjoy the show exactly like an arrogant cat that just knocked a vase off a table. I love these little games. While all this is happening with the boys, Owen, having accepted Claire's invitation, arrives with her at the Indominus Rex enclosure. He stares at the massive crack splitting the glass wall, a chilling unease creeping into his mind. Another genetic hybrid, and this time a dinosaur spliced with God knows what. Despite having me as a prime example, my intelligence and gentle nature prove he can be trusted. Owen maintains maximum caution when dealing with a new hybrid, especially with his buddy Dad is already en route to Chicago to dig up the buried truth. When they realized I was still the same old white tiger, with no sudden personality shifts or alarming behavior, they slowly let their guard down. Tracking down my complete genome was no longer a priority. Basically, I live as a free-roaming beast. As long as I don't wander into crowded tourist zones without reason, I have the run of the park. But as Owen studies the scratches on the glass, something catches the corner of his eye. Massive claw marks gouging the concrete gate, climbing higher toward the top of the wall. The sight sends a cold shiver down his spine. I have never attacked without reason. The only time I broke out was when I was starving, and I took down a triceratops. On my way back, I only killed again, because another bizarre creature attacked me first. He reviewed the footage. Initially, I had zero intention of killing it. I was purely defensive, batting away its attacks. Only when it kept pushing did I lose patience and ended in a single strike. Watching that footage made his heart stop. A true feline. An absolute king. The greatest hunter in nature. Most people picture tigers as ambush predators, patient, hiding, striking from the shadows. But Owen once saw a video of an adult Bengal tiger casually taking down an 1,100-pound water buffalo by charging it head-on and wrestling it to the ground. The dominance of big cats in nature is on a completely different level. And it was precisely because of that clash with the unknown creature that Owen treats this new hybrid with absolute dread. After warning everyone, Owen refuses to step inside the paddock. He chooses to stay in the control room. What he never anticipated was the terrifying intelligence of the creature. It left those claw marks on purpose to trick the staff into entering. And the thermal sensors always touted as state-of-the-art picked up absolutely nothing. The two men who ignored his warnings found exactly the nightmare he feared. The Indominus Rex was hiding inside the whole time. From his vantage point, Owen watches in horror as the creature purposely slows down, then snatches a staff member, and tears him apart. Facing death, the overweight worker panics, and hits the gate release. The Indominus charges straight through that single opening, and breaks out. And unlike me, it doesn't have a single gentle cell in its body. The moment it's free, the slaughter begins. Everyone caught outside is massacred. Only Owen, who never left the control room, survives. Claire is driving to the paddock, completely unaware of the carnage that just unfolded inside. She's busy complaining about the terrible quality of the glass. The manufacturer swore up and down it was the toughest bulletproof glass money could buy. Look at it. A few claw marks, and it fractures. Honestly, she needs to start looking for suppliers from the east. Seeing the brutality of the Indominus Rex up close, Claire suddenly realizes just how much she appreciates my gentle nature. Even if one of my slaps could crumple a pickup truck, I'm obedient, out of trouble, and incredibly smart. Unlike the monster currently running loose causing chaos, whose eyes scream hatred and slaughter the moment it's free. Then the control room starts screaming frantically through her earpiece, and a terrible premonition swallows her whole. Help! Help us! Let us out! Help! Two young voices scream out over the open field. Approaching the scene, it's obvious this is all a tiger's doing. I've already gotten to work. Jaws wide open, I clamp down on the gyrosphere. Over 14 feet tall, 26 feet long, with a skull wider than a grown man is tall. Picking up that tiny ball takes zero effort. With a little more force, I could crush it. But I hold back. Watching the movie, I always wondered if this thing could actually hold up. It couldn't stop the Indominus Rex's claws, but it did break one of the monster's teeth. If the Indominus could bite through it, so can he. That's no surprise. The question is how much force I want to use. The sphere spins wildly, trying to escape. I use my tail to knock it into the air, sending it into a tailspin. Timing it perfectly, I swat it high into the sky. The ball twirls in mid-air. As it falls, I drop my shoulders, arch my spine low, and raise my rear, forming a perfect crescent curve. The sphere lands with a thud and slides down my back like a runway. When it reaches my tail, I give it one last flick. Rinse and repeat. I am having the time of my life. But Zach and Gray, trapped inside, are having a very different experience. The seatbelts are locked tight, so they aren't in mortal danger. It just feels exactly like being trapped in the world's most violent roller coaster. Right at the peak of my one-sided game of fetch, I suddenly hear a strange sound, and my entire body instantly tenses. Still, I'm lucid enough to handle the airborne sphere. I catch it on my back, gently set it on the ground, give it a hard swat with my tail, and vanish into the deep jungle. Gone in the blink of an eye. The brothers are panting heavily, straining their eyes to make sure the monster is really gone. Zach ignores his churning stomach and immediately slams the joystick, pushing the sphere to top speed. He doesn't care where the tiger went. He just wants out of this hellhole. In a panic, he drives straight through the breached fence of the restricted zone. Only when he feels they've gone far enough does he stop. The brothers finally dare to breathe. Look. Ankylosaurus. 4 of them. Zach, feeling slightly safer, rubs his uneasy stomach. To calm his brother's nerves, he pats Gray's shoulder and points at the 4 massive, dark shapes ahead. We saw them from the tram, but now we get a close-up. Wait, weren't there supposed to be 5? No, wait. Just 4. Look, I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4. Listening to his brother count, Gray slowly raises a trembling finger and points at the glass in front of them. Reflected in the glass is the head of a 5th, absolutely colossal dinosaur. I'm tearing through the forest when a bizarre sound hits my eardrums. It doesn't sound like a dinosaur. It doesn't sound like any animal I know. Honestly, it doesn't even sound biological. If I had to describe it, it sounds exactly like a metal coat hanger spinning and scraping against glass. Yet, strangely, the moment I hear it, the blood in my veins boils as if answering a wake-up call from deep within my genes. I can almost understand what it's saying. I have awakened. Excuse me. What does I have awakened even mean? And what? Am I supposed to bring you tribute or something? Sprinting at top speed, I reach a cliff jutting out over the ocean at the eastern edge of Island Nublar. I stand precariously on the edge, looking down at the churning waves below. No way am I jumping in there. I try a tet roar, half doubting the thing down there can even hear me. Because honestly, I don't think I heard that sound with my ears. It felt more like it resonated through my fur. I suddenly remember a concept from physics. Audio frequencies. Human ears only pick up a very narrow band. Anything higher is ultrasound, lower is infrasound. What range does a tiger hear in? I have no idea. But looking at the dinosaurs and everything else around me, it seems like nothing else heard it. Which means whatever frequency that signal was on, I was the only one who caught it. This has never happened before. Did Henry secretly bake me a sibling? How else do you explain why the sound felt familiar from the very first second? I shake the image of another giant, white tiger out of my head. I must be delusional. Biologically speaking, I'm not even 2 years old yet. I stand frozen on the cliff, waiting. No reply. It's as if the whole thing was just my overactive imagination. The excitement fades, giving way to silence. Hearing nothing, I drop my massive head and turn back, carrying a vague heaviness I can't quite name. Maybe I hadn't even realized it myself. Ever since the moment I opened my eyes in this world, I've carried a lingering loneliness that occasionally sweeps over me like a silent shadow. I truly don't know what I am. A tiger. Are there tigers this big? A genetic hybrid. I've already killed one, and it looks like I'm about to clean up another. The gap between us is too wide. There is no communication. That's why, during my first encounter with the Scorpius Rex, I didn't kill it immediately. In a way, we were kin. Who knew it to be a psychopath? If it weren't for the human soul carrying its optimism and sanity inside this body, I probably would have sunk into endless darkness a long time ago. And then, a violent, raging roar echoes from deep within the forest. My ears prick up. It's coming from the direction I just left. And this sound isn't like that previous call. This is the bloodthirsty bellow of a carnivore. I remember the 2 kids I was just playing with. Ruining the timeline of the plot, I realize that monster has broken containment. So, I accelerate. Since we're both genetic hybrids, why not introduce ourselves? I intentionally ignore the fact that, as an apex predator, it has slaughtered everything in its path. From my perspective, that behavior means only one thing: it's begging for a beating. Beat it half to death, and it'll learn to behave. Violence is the only thing that silences violence. That creature's hideous appearance and blood-soaked hunting habits are the exact opposite of mine. Earlier, while fleeing, the gyrosphere was struck by the club tail of an ankylosaurus, sent flying, and wedged tightly into a massive tree trunk. The moment the brothers scrambled out of that mess, the terrifying creature was staring dead at them. They watched those razor-sharp claws slowly pierce through the glass, and all Zach could think was that tour guide was a lying piece of trash. Bulletproof my ass. It can't even stop dinosaur claws. When the Indominus Rex realizes clawing takes too long, it switches to biting. A 6-foot-long skull opens over 120 degrees into a kiss of death, clamping down on the sphere with all its might. With every bite, the sphere groans and cracks. Spiderweb fractures spread across the surface. The brothers unbuckle. Staying means dying. They struggle to crawl out. The moment they make a run for it, the Indominus spots its escaping prey and spits out the remnants of the sphere. Looking at the two tiny humans just like the ones who caged her all those years, the long edges of the Indominus' mouth curl into something resembling a sinister smile. Boom. A colossal, snow-white mass rockets out of the brush like an artillery shell, slamming into the ground, cutting off the monster from the two boys. Everything freezes. The brothers, and the Indominus. No one moves. Zach can't believe his eyes. Did the tiger come to save us? The Indominus is utterly confused. It has never seen a creature with so much fur. The reason for its recent massacre was simple: it needed to establish its place in the food chain. So it killed everything in sight, testing itself against every creature to measure its own strength. After the bloodbath, it had drafted a crude metric for its enemies. How big is it? How many teeth? How long are the claws? Now, this white beast in front of her. 4 canines jut out, and they look longer than her own teeth, almost matching the length of her claws. Even crouching on all fours, this thing is nothing like the brainless dinosaur she just shredded. This thing isn't smaller than her. Its overall length seems a bit shorter, but that's only because the Indominus has an unusually long tail. And at the same time, she catches a scent waves of killing intent pouring off this creature. The Indominus can feel the intense battle lust radiating from me. But after the slaughter she just pulled off, she firmly believes her status is absolute apex. And the thing blocking her path is the final boss that will judge if she truly is the king. Without a second of hesitation, the moment I appear, the Indominus roars, bares her claws, and charges. Seeing a head-on rush without so much as a hello really pisses me off. Why did you have all the time in the world to chat with the raptors, but you charge me like a kamikaze? Isn't the basic rule of nature that when two equal predators share territory, they growl and flex to force the other to back down? I highly approve of that rule, because a fight between two evenly matched beasts rarely ends without severe injuries for both. And if I get hurt, how do I hunt? How do I eat? Looking at myself, I am clearly a supreme apex predator from every angle. Or do I just look so nice and cuddly that you think I'm an easy meal? That thought blows away any interest in negotiating. If it wants a fight, I will oblige. Time to show it who's boss. I will say it again, I don't like fighting, but that doesn't mean I don't know how to fight, or that I'm afraid to. Roar. I unleash a deafening bellow that completely swallows the Indominus shriek, then charge straight at it. Seeing it open its jaws, and lower its head to ram me, I drop low. Every hair on my body stands on end. In my past life, I was a die-hard monster movie fan, so the specs of this hybrid are burned into my brain. 18 feet tall, 50 feet long, 30,000 pounds, and this thing isn't even fully grown. At peak condition, the Indominus can hit 22 feet tall and 55 feet long. Even if the recent data was revised down, shortening her to 44 feet, the max weight remains the same. And me, 14 feet tall, 26 feet long, plus a 15-foot tail. On paper, I'm not at a disadvantage at all. I might even have the upper hand. My exact weight, nobody knows. But it's undeniable right now. Between me and the Indominus Rex, we are sitting at the same table as ultimate predators. Though I am confident I have the edge, ever since that core appeared inside me, I've felt like my strength is bottomless. I still stuff my face until my belly is tight every day, because doing so channels a warm flow of energy straight into that core. Whatever it is. After I broke out and ate a try, Jurassic World got the message. As long as I open my mouth, there's an endless buffet. That's why I cleared at least 10.0 pounds of meat every day. With that massive supply, my belly stays full, and the surplus energy dumps into the core. I still don't know exactly what this core does. Is it like a camel's hump? I tried starving myself for a month once. Nothing happened. I felt perfectly fine. Conclusion: the core is my backup energy reserve. The only puzzle is why it's inside my body instead of showing up on the outside. That little discovery nearly gave Owen and the staff a heart attack once. Back to the Indominus charging like a lunatic. Left swipe. Right swipe. I toy with it effortlessly. Honestly, watching the movie, I thought she was terrifying. She was agile enough to dodge helicopter gunfire, and the first bullets that hit her thick hide didn't leave a scratch. But now, fighting face to face, I realize her fighting style is just a glitched out version of a T-Rex. Every bite she attempts gets easily swatted away. Smack. Losing patience, I put a little more force into it, slapping her so hard she spins in place. She uses the momentum to counter, whipping her massive tail at me. Useless. I read her intent the second she turns to wind up, and I casually sidestep to dodge. This fight feels more like entertainment. I've heard tigers can take down prey 4 times their size. To the two kids watching from below, this clash must look incredibly intense. Two evenly matched titans. The Indominus misses bite after bite, every attempt met with a backhand to the face, followed by my spectacular tail dodges. The Indominus finally realizes her approach isn't working and slowly backs off. She hasn't given up. She tries to use her forelimbs to block my slaps. But those freaky long arms, while way more impressive than a T-Rex, look utterly ridiculous trying to parry my 4 heavily muscled legs. And her long, bulky skull longer than my own head is a blind spot those lanky claws can't protect. The only tactic she comes up with now is exploiting her long tail. Waiting until I think she's off balance, she'll swing her tail to sweep my legs. But every time she sets the trap and readies the strike, I rid her completely and smash 2 hits straight into her forehead. Reeling in pain, the Indominus staggers back. Another ancient tree snaps. Since the fight started, terrifying force has exploded in every direction. Wherever the two of us go, ancient trees are uprooted. Trunks as thick as a man's torso snap like dry twigs. The splintering sounds are heart-stopping. Another missed tail wood. The Indominus' tail slams into a nearby oak. The canopy shatters. Torn branches and leaves rain down in a shower of debris. Overcommitting, she stomps both feet into the dirt, trying to regain her balance. The ground quakes. Dust billows, boulders shatter. But before she can steady herself, it pounds, wrestling her to the ground. As we roll and grapple, the vegetation around us is pulverized. The once picturesque forest is reduced to a wasteland in a matter of breaths. After a few lightning-fast exchanges, both of us have measured the other's skill. And the Indominus used to being invincible is backed into a corner, while I haven't even gone all out yet. The Indominus pants heavily, towering nearly 20 feet above me, glaring down at the creature standing completely relaxed below her. The quills on her back stand on end. Her hind legs coil tight. Her jaws open wide, showing off a jagged maw of lethal teeth. In my eyes, it's all just a pathetic bluff. All brawn, no brains. I channelize strength into my powerful hind legs, engage my core, and stand straight up. In an instant, I height doubles. Every height advantage the Indominus clung to vanishes like smoke. Her fake facade crumbles. The Indominus slowly backs away. Looking up at the king casually glaring down at her, she is forced to admit a feeling she has never tasted before: fear. Because at this proximity, she sees my 4 canine teeth. Far longer than hers, more than enough to rip her throat to shreds. Roar. You will regret this. She growls a threat, spins around, and bolts straight into the forest without looking back. I drop back onto all fours. I don't chase her, nor do I bother communicating. A second ago I was beating you like a rented mule, and now you want me to say, hey, wanna be friends? Only an idiot wouldn't see the ridiculousness of that. And her vile, bloodthirsty nature has killed whatever sympathy I had left. Any interest in making friends has vanished without a trace. Right now, I have nothing but contempt for her. Watching the Indominus get smothered from start to finish, so terrified she only dared to snap a threat before running away. Grace's eyes are glued to the magnificent tiger in front of him. His eyes hold pure admiration, as he looks up from the ground, seeing my fluffy white fur catching the wind, lined with mysterious purple stripes. I look like a mythical beast stepping right out of a legend. Zach, with the perspective of an older teen, sees it differently. To him, this is just a territorial clash between two apex predators, and the brothers' situation hasn't improved one bit. Luckily, the giant white tiger barely gives them a passing glance before turning and sauntering back toward the savannah, leaving the brothers frozen in place. Why would I care about those 2 kids? I only chased them earlier because their car was a round ball, and my instincts took over. Now my mind is elsewhere. I catch the heavy scent of blood, the remnants of the Indominus' massacre, and my stomach is rumbling. Might as well grab a bite while I'm at it. With the threat gone, the brothers make it back to the safe zone, reuniting with Claire and Owen, who were out looking for them. There was a giant white tiger. It played with us like a toy but didn't hurt us. It was awesome. It fought off this freak dinosaur. And that dinosaur had these super long arms, and way more teeth than a T-Rex. Claire and Owen exchange a look as the kids talk over each other. They understand exactly what happened. I was out for a walk, bumped into the kids, and my curiosity flared up. And in the process, I accidentally protected them from the Indominus. The adults picture the scene perfectly. I am walking through the woods. I see a giant glass ball, and like any cat, I am instantly obsessed. When Owen was my handler, he watched me play with a ball every day until I grew so fast the ball became too small, and only then did I stop. Meow. The curiosity is back. Completely understandable. I chase my new toy, run into the Indominus trying to hurt the kids inside, and I drive it off. After the fight, I don't give chase, nor do I stay to babysit. I leave. Completely normal behavior, perfectly in line with my lazy and gentle nature. It's a shame I didn't just kill the Indominus right then and there. But regardless, this is good news. The Indominus Rex is not invincible. Go find Lowery. Drag him here. I'm taking the kids somewhere safe. Bobby, at. The plan is set. They split up. The Indominus situation is escalating fast. They need to act. While the humans are busy doing their thing, I'm happily cleaning up the dinosaur buffet scattered around. I didn't make this mess, nor is it my problem. If it's edible, he did. But as I look out over the battlefield, I can't help but grumble. That Indominus crossed the line. It killed everything in sight. Dozens of animals from multiple species. This thing isn't just disrupting the food chain. It's slaughtering for the pure joy of it. But whatever, not my problem. Keep eating. I toss the picked clean bones of an Apatosaurus aside and move to the next target. Surrounding me are the remains of 7 or 8 half-eaten carcasses. Something feels off today. I've eaten this much and I'm still not full. No, hungry isn't the right word. I feel unsatisfied. I focus my mind and feel the flow inside me. A warm current is surging, pouring straight into the core in my chest. Just how much energy does this thing need? Not bothering to pick the bones clean, they jump straight to the next carcass. There's plenty of food, no need to be polite. Right in the middle of my meal, I hear the thwack of helicopter rotors. I look up. A helicopter is gliding across the sky, heading straight for the area where I just fought the Indominus. Wait. Remember now. In the movie, Simon is the overconfident idiot. He pilots a helicopter himself to hunt the Indominus, crashes into the Ternodonavir, unleashes a flock of terror birds, and dies. His death is the indirect reason Jurassic World either gets shut down or bought out. Either way, that means the end of my peaceful days. Absolutely unacceptable. I throw my massive head back and unleash an earth-shattering roar. In the chopper, Simon looks down at the white speck on the ground roaring at the sky. He assumes I'm just saying hello, cheerfully waves back, and flies straight into the deep forest. He is determined to personally eliminate the monster, destroying his par. His eyes lock coldly onto the Gatling gun mounted on the side of the chopper with absolute confidence. No carbon-based life form can withstand the firepower of modern weaponry. With my supervision, I catch every detail. Simon's waving hand is 300 feet in the air. His smirking face seems to scream, I can't lose. Why won't anyone listen to me? You're a billionaire. Why do you have to personally charge onto the battlefield? I ditch my half-finished meal and rocket straight into the jungle. I have to reach the Indominus first. Take it down if possible, and at all costs, prevent it from ruining the perfect life I've built here. But a chopper flies faster than anything on the ground. In minutes, Simon is hovering right above the Indominus. The Gatling gun spins up and spits lead, the noise deafening. Yet, watching the gunner's tracers, Simon wants to curse and pull the trigger himself. A few initial hits, and then everything misses. Out of options, he is forced to maneuver the chopper closer, trying to give the gunner a better angle. And right in the middle of that chase, a white blur explodes from the brush, aiming straight for the fleeing Indominus. It's me. This time, no more games. The second I heard the Gatling gun spin up, I knew they had engaged. So, I pushed ahead, set an ambush right on her escape route, and waited. This time, we do it the feline way. The ground begins to shake. The silhouette of the Indominus sharpens through the trees ahead. When the gap closes to under 100 yards, I launch myself like a cannonball out of a barrel. All my explosive speed is unleashed at once. I already have active camo and thermal suppression engaged, positioned perfectly downwind. All for this one flawless moment. The Indominus, with all her attention locked on the chopper above, never knows death is coming. Even when she hears the impossibly heavy, blistering footsteps charging at her, it's already too late. She can't hit the brakes, plowing straight into my strike zone. Already at top speed, I lock onto my target. Jaws open wide, I clamp down on her thick neck. Using the pure momentum of my sprint, I tackle her to the ground. Even accounting for her freakishly long arms, I shift my posture the moment she falls. My entire body coils tight, locking across her back, my teeth sinking deep into her vulnerable neck like the kiss of death. The moment Simmons spots the giant white shape below, he orders a ceasefire. That is his treasure. The Indominus is written off as garbage. But the next big attraction for Jurassic World Ancient Titan is Dinosaur. Now that's a show worth paying for. They say you don't know what you have until you compare it. His two most expensive hybrids are side by side. Next to my calm, gentle nature, the Endemis looks like a total disaster. It only highlights my perfection: obedient, submissive, intelligent. Just one tiny flaw: I eat a bit much. But compared to those three traits, the meat bill is nothing. Feeling the vice grip on her neck tightening, air quickly becomes a luxury. The Indominus struggles desperately. Both sets of claws slash wildly at my shoulders, her legs kicking up a storm of dirt, trying to kick away the encroaching death. But from the moment it struck, every bit of resistance was calculated. In this position, all her thrashing does is drain what little strength she has left. Unless she can wrap her arms around me like octopus tentacles. But that plan has one fatal flaw: her arms aren't long enough. All I have to do is pin my forepaws against her head and torso. When it comes down to it, a dinosaur's core strength can never match a modern mammal's. Once they go down, the chances of getting back up are almost zero. Even the famously agile Indominus can't break that rule. And unlike a brainless T-Rex, I won't politely stand by and wait for her to get up. I pin her face down, feeling the life beneath me fading, then going still. The Indominus stops moving. I don't stop. I loosen my jaws just a fraction, then bite down again with everything I have. Snap. I completely tear out her windpipe. No living thing can survive that. I don't do it because I am overthinking. I don't know if she's playing dead, so I bite through it just to make it absolutely sure she's gone. Simon and his crew watch the battle from above as it reaches its end. That unprecedented fight, no. That unprecedented hunt leaves their jaws on the floor. From start to finish, from the second I appeared to the deciding blow, the whole thing took less than 3 minutes. In those 3 minutes, I put on a masterclass in feline hunting tactics. The Indominus, the monster they couldn't stop, crumbled that fast against an opponent in her own weight class. Looks like we need to thank God the white tiger is on our side. Owen, watching the feed in the monitoring room with Claire, butters. He really doesn't want to imagine what would happen if my personality was as vicious as the Indominus. Wait, guys, I think you need to see this. What the hell is it now? Isn't it over? Everyone. There is something absolutely colossal flying toward the island. Based on its trajectory, it's heading straight for the white tiger's position. Everyone stares blankly at the strange red dot blinking rapidly on the screen, completely baffled. There are no scheduled flights landing right now. Oh. Is that a chopper? Something just blew past. Something is heading straight for you guys. Simon gets the report too, but he's perfectly relaxed. Nobody died. Nobody got hurt. He mourns the loss of the dinosaurs, but as long as the genetic samples are intact, everything can be rebuilt. All he has to do now is coax me back home. Hello. What's going on? What flew past? Simon is clueless. He doesn't see anything. But then he does. Or rather, he feels it. A violent hurricane shreds the sky, blasting away the thick cloud cover in an instant, exposing a gargantuan, black silhouette. Every beat of its wings sends Simon's 50-foot helicopter tossing like a dead leaf caught in the eye of a storm. What the hell is that? Completely ignoring the tiny humans nearby, the massive shadow locks its eyes onto the snow-white mountain below, who is still standing motionless, looking up. Then, it dives. Simon reacts too late. Even as he maxes out the throttle, one of the creature's wings clips his tail rotor. The chopper spirals out of control and plummets toward the earth. But right now, I don't have the mental capacity to care about Simon's fate. I stand rooted to the spot, my body frozen. I know exactly what that thing in the sky is. Wait. Aren't I in the Jurassic World cinematic universe? Did that damn thing wander into the wrong movie?